Now, more than ever, the word home has taken on a new significance. Our homes have become our workplaces, our schools, our entertainment hubs, and our personal sanctuaries. At Dwell with Dignity, we bring a sense of home and safety to those who have never had it before. Join us as we talk to designers, artists, and creatives about what home means to them, how they shelter and style, and why giving transformational design to those less fortunate is so important. I'm Ashley Sharp, and this is Dwelling Well.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Dwelling Well. My name is Ashley Sharp, and I'm the Executive Director of Dwell with Dignity. Thank you so much for joining us again. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking to one of our former thrift studio designers, an amazing mother, human being, and also, this is so fascinating, a fashion designer in her own right. So I'm so excited today to welcome Holly Hickey Moore. Hi, Holly. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I am so good. Thank you so much for making time out of your crazy schedule to join me today. So I am thrilled to have you. Obviously, you know a lot about Dwell with Dignity. You're a longtime friend of the organization, but what we really want to know about today is you. So can you just tell me how you first got started in design?
You know, I always have loved design, and just growing up, my parents always were working with their hands and doing crafts. My mom sews, and my dad, he actually is a car guy, and I think that definitely relates to design in ways. So, I always knew that I wanted to go into interior design, and my mom made clothes for me when I was little, and I loved picking my own fabrics, and so I just fell into it, and that's what I do now. I mean, I've always done it.
So I'm always curious to know, did your parents give you free reign over your bedroom? So like when I grew up, it was, I don't know, inflatable furniture and beaded curtains. That was kind of having a renaissance. But did you have a very specific style design as a kid?
Well, my mom, she made all the curtains and bedding and everything, and it was all primary colors. I remember it was rainbows and hearts. I remember that. And that's probably why I like color so much. Um, I did do some things with my room, but it was more crafty. I remember going to the hardware store and taking paint swatches and cutting them up, and I lacquered them all over the top of my desk. So that's the kind of things I would do. I would kind of alter the furniture in my room.
Wow. And I love that. I love that your parents gave you the ability to be creative and to have those influences. I think that's so neat.
Yes, I mean, we were always being creative. We were always doing things, making things. It was either, it could be clothes or furniture or art, or we were always making things.
So you're a mother, obviously you have an adorable little boy. So are you guys creative as well? Is that something that you guys do as a family?
Yes. Elliot, my son, and I, we always sit down and do crafts together. And especially, during the given circumstances, we made an alligator out of an egg carton. We make all kinds of things together. So it's really fun to kind of go back, to my, roots, and, kind of start fresh with like just crafting, with a little kid, and, seeing and really teaching him too, how to work with materials. So it's really fun for the both of us.
Well, and I think that's so great because I think that learning to use your hands is something that is so valuable. And people kind of forget, especially as they get older, that being creative is a great way to inspire other areas of your life. It's not just, okay, I'm making this project for my house, but it really opens up your brain and your heart for other areas.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a release. It's not only do I do interior design, but I like to do paint. I actually painted this behind me. but I like to paint and, just do things with my hands, but it's outside of the design spectrum. I mean, it's more artistic. It's more of an expression of myself, and really it's meditative. And so I actually have to have that in my life. I need it. Otherwise I can't function.
So it's almost like you have your own therapy in a way. But
Sure.
what I find is that a lot of people get really anxious because they don't think they're good enough. And instead of thinking about it as being a professional, people, I think, should embrace more the idea that this is a release, like you were saying. So do you have any advice for people who don't think that they can do something because they're not the best at it?
I would I think that, you don't have to show it to anybody. It can just be your own thing, and, you just play around with it, and, whether it's art or knitting or sewing or, whatever it is, just making things with your hands is just such a great release. And, you don't have to show it to anybody. It should just be for you.
Well, and I love that idea. I think because we live in such an Instagram driven world that people think that everything that they do needs to be shown to other people.
Right.
But I like that you can just do something for you. Like your house should be for you, right?
Right. It should. It should. I have a lot of things that I haven't shown. A lot of, trial and error, and there's some things that, I don't want to show just because I don't want to show it. It's special, it's for me, or it's for my family. And, it just stays within, those boundaries, and which I think we all should have.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And so as you approach style and design, how do you go about achieving an eclectic mixed look? Because you really do pull inspiration from so many places, and it doesn't seem like anything in your home is too precious, and especially having a kid, that's so important. So kind of what's your design philosophy at home?
I love all different styles. I see a lot. So it's hard for me to say, I love just mid-century modern, or I'm only, a traditionalist. I love all of the styles, probably because I have done so many different projects, with different clients who like different, tastes. So my personal look is more collected. I don't like to have a home that's gonna look brand new, like a showroom. It can be beautiful, but it's just not my personal look. So, many of my things are collected and found pieces. From being a mom's, standpoint, whenever I had Elliot, I swore that I was not going to lose my identity. And I also was not going to put everything away, up high on a shelf. I want Elliot to be immersed in the things that I love, and, the things that, I bring into my home, either found in travels or, locally, or, so I wanted him, and I want him still to be able to touch and feel things, but teaching him, to be, to be nice to things, and, accepting that some of my stuff is going to get broken, and it has. So some things, are more precious than others, but in the end, it's really just stuff anyway. And, as much as I love being surrounded by things, it's all, I love just having it out, for us to enjoy, and, not tucked away in a closet or a cabinet. So, I mean, I use all my china, I use everything in my house. So, as far as, from a design standpoint, and, having a child, there are things that, I definitely, after having a kid, have, I think more about, like what kind of, carpet to put down, or, when kids are crawling around, and what kind of materials, to use for clients. And a lot of my clients have young kids. So I'm glad that I can relate to that. now in my life. And, I understand, why we choose the things we do as parents.
Absolutely. And I think it's so important to be able to marry both for your clients because it gives you a full round perspective and they can trust you implicitly because you've been there and you've lived it. And so you're saying, look, I've experienced this, I know what's going to work. And so that client designer trust is so important. And you have done projects all over. So tell me a little bit about some of the most fun projects that you've done with these really cool clients of yours.
Well, I lived up in Vermont for 5 years. So I was able to do, I did a project in Hanover, New Hampshire. Uh, I was able to I went to Boston a lot, to find inspiration. And there's a design center up there. Several projects in Vermont throughout. I did a ski house, which was an awesome project, which, they wanted it to feel like a boutique hotel. So I got to kind of marry, this hospitality design and residential design together. So that was really fun. And then, prior to, Vermont, I worked on a project in Jacksonville, Florida, which was for a shoe company based out of Texas. We did several retail stores. I did a luxury high-rise condominium project, and then many, many residential projects throughout Texas, one in New York, one in California. So I've done a lot of really fun things, really diverse and eclectic mix of projects for sure.
Oh my gosh, that's so neat. Okay, so I actually have so many questions that come from just that alone, but I have to talk about your thrift studio space. So you mentioned doing hospitality, and when we met to talk about thrift studio and kind of introduce you to the concept because you're new around here, you had the most amazing idea and it turned into this beautiful space and people felt like they walked into a hotel lobby and there was retail and there were places to lounge. So can you talk a little bit about what that process was like for you and what your goals are kind of as far as it relates to the hospitality world?
Sure. So, going into thrift studio, I wanted, I do a lot of residential design, or I have been doing that recently. So I wanted to do something out of the box outside of my comfort zone. And being new to Dallas, I just wanted to bring something new and different to the table, something different to thrift studio. So instead of creating, a living room vignette or a kitchen or, a bedroom, I wanted to create something like a hotel lobby. And because I absolutely love hospitality design, I love to travel and I love staying in boutique hotels. And I just love the experience of it and that they're all different and they have a residential feel to them. So, going into this vignette design, I create, a lot of it was designed myself. So I teamed up with R. Jones I created a custom, banquette bench that was circular. I teamed, Kufri Fabrics donated some of her textiles. What was great was that I was able to team up with so many local people, and I wanted to also incorporate fashion into my vignette. So whenever I moved to Dallas, I started doing these watercolor beetles because in school I took a lot of art classes, but I never took watercolor. So I started, and I also love insects just because I was a tomboy when I was little, and they're just beautiful to me, especially beetles. So I created these watercolors, and then it turned into, some prints, and then it kind of turned into pattern design, and then turned into textiles. And so I had my mom who sews, she made me a skirt, and because I just wanted to see them translated into fashion instead of upholstery or drapery or something that, typically a designer, would go that route. I really, fashion, it's just something that have been really interested in. So I made, my mom made these skirts for me, and then I decided I want to incorporate these skirts into my vignette. Like when you visit a boutique hotel, there's like a little boutique store or a little shop kind of in the lobby, or, off to the side of the lobby. So I created, 3 skirts out of my beetle fabric. I found someone local who made them for me. And another fun thing I did was I drew an image, like an illustration of Iris Apfel, and I had her made into a neon sign because I wanted her big, red glasses to glow. And that sign very well. It was very fun to do. So basically I just had free reign over everything that I did in Thrift Studio. I also painted a huge armoire by hand that was in the Dwell with Dignity, was in the warehouse. And that was really fun. So it was just free reign. It was, there was a lot of art, art associated with it, fashion. It was just a great mix of everything. And, I really enjoyed it. And, I do at some point, want to immerse myself more into hospitality design, especially, local Dallas hospitality design, on a boutique level. So this was kind of my first stab at it, as far as kind of my vision of what, a boutique hotel could look like.
Well, and so many of your pieces have these crazy stories behind them. And so just from the Thrift Studio side, Iris, the neon piece, was the first piece to sell. People literally sprinted in the door and fought over it. I think someone may have even tried to pay someone off to get this piece. It was insane. And I think all the skirts sold the first night, and the armoire was such a huge hit that someone bought it and shipped it to Houston.
Oh my God.
So I love that. I mean, people have these really passionate reactions to your work, which I love. And is there a way that people can still buy these skirts? I mean, are these still available?
Yeah, they're still available. I've been posting them on Instagram right now. I'm getting them, up on my website here pretty soon, but I do post them on Instagram every once in a while. I have 3 of them available right now, but they're really all made to order, and I'm kind of branching out. I've got more fabric designs and textile designs done. So, they're really, the purpose of these was, anyone could come to me and say, I want this fabric with this pocket, or more couture, more of a couture feel, but I'm still kind of playing around with, are they going to be more couture, or are they going to be more ready wear? Because people, they love, instant gratification these days. So still, playing around with that, but it just depends, it depends on, what people are wanting. So, and I'm just listening to that right now.
Any chance I could put it in order for a dinosaur skirt? I don't know if dinosaurs are in your wheelhouse or not, but my kid would be really happy.
I think a dinosaur skirt would be awesome. Yeah. And I also would love to do like the little, the Iris Apfel face, like the neon sign, but small, and, a pattern repeat out of her. I think that would be really fun.
Oh my gosh. And then we'd have to get Iris to wear the skirt and take a picture of her wearing her face on a skirt.
Right.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so you and I are complete opposites in the way that we dress, which I think is great. I am white and black and very neutral and clean, and you are so fun and vibrant and colorful. So when did you first start loving fashion, and how does that impact what your design choices look like?
I have loved fashion ever since my mom made an outfit for me, and I got so much attention from it. I'm not gonna lie. It was, I think I had worn it it was in 2nd grade, and my teacher, she loved it. It was that 90s kind of pop art looking, that 90s pop pop art style. That was the pattern of the clothing. And my mom made that. And then I used to sing in the talent shows in elementary school. So I wore another outfit my mom made. And I just loved like getting up and getting on stage with this custom outfit made for me. It felt really special. So I probably liked fashion before I really understood or even knew what interior design was. So fashion has always, been in my soul. And, I've always loved shopping. I've always admired other people's clothing. So I think fashion really tells a lot about you. And when you meet somebody, they're telling you exactly who they are by what they wear. I mean, you can pick it up pretty fast, who that person is, what their personality is, probably what their home looks like, because fashion is an extension of your personality, and home is kind of the opposite. It's when you're in your home, it's an expression of yourself. So we're always kind of expressing ourselves, whether we're in a home or whether we're walking around out of our homes. So, yeah. You asked me something else and I forgot.
No, I mean, that's so beautiful and that's so poignant. And I don't think that people realize that they are reflecting their personality. I think that sometimes people just approach clothes or interior design and think, well, I need a couch. But exactly what are you saying? What does that couch say about you? And it's funny because my home is green and orange and bright. And I feel like I'm trying to get more of those aspects into my personal appearance. But what advice would you give to people who are maybe scared of using color in the home, or they don't even know where to start, but they want to be more bold in their choices?
Well, I think that if you look in your closet, if you look in anyone's closet, that is what you're comfortable with. If you look all throughout your clothes, if you're a neutrals person, that's what you're comfortable with. That's what you like being in. You go out and you're confident in it. If you're trying to like bold colors, maybe it's not right to integrate bold colors. So I think that people should just naturally gravitate and choose things that they feel comfortable with, instead of, you may love color, but you may not feel comfortable with it. So I think that, definitely, clothing is something that, we all choose for ourselves, and, we feel good in what we're wearing. I feel good wearing a lot of color or pattern, or, I wouldn't feel good with a very neutral outfit. I would feel like something's missing on me. But, you look beautiful in neutrals, and, we find things that fit us and fit our personalities. That's what makes us all different.
Well, and I think that's what attracts you to other people too, is I love your energy and your vibrancy. And, the minute I met you, I was like, I want to know more about this woman. She's so fascinating. And it's because of the way you carry yourself in your clothes. So maybe it's almost an opposite attract thing too, in a way.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
So as far as that goes too, how do you recommend that people blend their styles with a partner or a spouse? Because I know that can be an area of contention for so many people, and they come at it from such different places and histories in their life.
What I have found really is, I think that couples or partners, they disagree more on the functionality of things than the actual look of things. So really, it's kind of getting down to the bottom of, why can't a couple make a decision on anything? And mainly it's because, one person wants a space to function in a different way than the other person does. So, when they have different styles, I think that's when we have to start saying, well, you probably need a more eclectic look. Let's mix them both in, and I can help you with that. I can help you mix, you like really rustic, industrial looking, furniture, while, you like floral and color and pattern. So, that's why they hire us, to mix, to pull it all together.
Well, and that's what I love about Dallas as a city. Dallas loves designers. And I think it's so great for not only the design community, but just for people to be able to understand that designers do this professionally for a reason. I mean, if you go to a doctor, it's because they have years of experience doing something. You buy your clothes, they have years of experience. You go to a designer because they have years of experience putting things together, putting together looks and colors, and they can help you figure out how to make your house function. That's what they do.
Right. It is. It's what we do every day. We have a seasoned and trained eye.
And not everyone has that. And I think that it's great that people are wanting to take risks and try things, but I also think that there's nothing wrong with calling a designer and saying, I have a room that I need help with. And then you come in, and what, do you sit with them? Do you talk to them? Like, what's your process for even just meeting with a client to see if it's a good fit?
I just, a lot of it is really just listening. You just want to listen to really hear what's going through their minds and what's troubling them. And so that's the first part of it. You just listen and take notes. And then, the second thing is, if they seem to be a fit, you start kind of looking at concept photos and inspiration, and you go through this whole list. I have a long questionnaire that I have them fill out. And, it talks about, it gets down to the details, like, do you like toile, or do you like checks, or do you like, or, what kind of furniture do you like, or where do you like to travel is a huge one. What's in your closet, where do you like to shop? So a lot of the questions aren't really even based around design itself. It's kind of doing all this research and kind of pulling it out of them to really, identify their personal style.
I think what's so fascinating about this conversation is that I'm realizing that this is psychology. It's not just color and texture and pattern and shine. This is really getting to the root of who a human being is and how they want to live their life.
Right. Very much so.
This has been a very deep conversation. I love this. So just one last question for you. Obviously, you do design, you do art, you do fashion. What's next? I mean, where are you going to go with all of this? It's so wonderful.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would really like to dive deeper into the fashion side of things. I am kind of a hoarder. I like to collect things, as probably all designers do. When we will go in our travels or shopping, we're always coming back with things. So, I have a small shop on Cherish right now, but, I want to grow that at some point. And, at some point I probably will have some sort of a boutique store or storefront. It's probably going to be inevitable. But I just, we're still kind of getting settled into Dallas, and, I'm experimenting with some things. And so I just, but definitely, I'm always trying to challenge myself and think outside the box a little bit.
Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you, Holly, so much for this time. And I think that you've made such a splash in Dallas already, and I'm excited to see what else you do. So thank you so much.
Well, being here, and thank you for chatting.
Of course. Holly, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so inspired by you, and I love hearing about your story, and I really can't wait to see what happens next for you. I will definitely be following your career closely, and I really do want one of those dinosaur skirts later. This has been another amazing episode of Dwelling Well. My name is Ashley Sharp, and I am so excited that you joined us today. See you guys next time. Bye.